Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with Mr. Tate Mathews. Tate, we are down to the region semis in basketball. And on the boys' side in particular, we know right now we have two that'll be in that sectional game, or the sub-state, which is what I like to call it.
Sub-state / sectional. Hard to believe we're in the month of March. We're already in the month of March, 2025, flying by. Wrestling has been wrapped up, and as you mentioned, we're oh so close to talking state tournament and girls basketball, and then right after that, boys basketball. So time flies, man. Spring sports start off this week, official games, so it's an exciting time. Weather's cooperating a little bit.
It is.
Thank goodness. It's what we needed.
I always said in basketball, you know you've had a good year if you're practicing when it's warm.
That's right.
And right now,
kind of like football. If you're practicing on Thanksgiving Day, good year. Practicing when it's warm, I like that. Well, we're going to get to it, but the boys sure took care of business.
Really took care of business. Hey, let's do this though, Tate. Last week when we taped the show, we were heading to the district championship game. So let's review those games real quick. Let's start with the girls. As a reminder, the championship was Brentwood versus Page. The consolation, Franklin, Nowensville. So on the girls' side, Brentwood takes care of Page 47-35. Brentwood led 18-15 at the half, but they had a big third quarter, took an 11-point lead going to the fourth, and that was just too much for Page to overcome. Did think it was interesting in that game. For the first time this year, defensively, a team said, okay, let's really try to take care of Ella Ryan. Let's double team her, let's face guard her, let's do all those things and not let her score. She only has 10 points, but here's something that's interesting. I went back and looked at the scores. She had 10 points, but that was their biggest margin of victory
over Page.
So it worked, yes, but in terms of working for the win, no, and I think that's really a testament to the rest of that team. Olivia Castagna, 18 points, 8 rebounds to lead the team. I think that was a big part of it too. I agree.
And it'll be interesting to see what happens the next time they see each other. But you see a reoccurring theme here, both on the boys and the girls, when they get out of district. I feel like, one, I know it was intentional, but also Paige they've seen her so many times. And it's kind of like in the NBA. You get to know the people you see all the time. You get to know them very, very well. So you see that with Christian Brown. I can't wait to talk about what he did once we went outside of district play. But anyways, largest. But do you think that's because of the way they went about playing them and it just backfired on them? Or kind of like we talked about a couple weeks ago, I feel like Brentwood's kind of starting to distance themselves a little bit from the rest of them, including Page?
I think it's a combo of what you said. I would just say I've seen that happen before where people want to limit the best player, and if you really look inside the numbers, maybe they do limit that person, but did it make a difference in the score? In this case, no.
Right.
In terms of margin. Now, Coach Kaufman would tell you, hey, we gave up 47 points. We did our job there if we would have just scored. So I get that too.
Yep.
I definitely get that. Page, the problem they had no one in double figures. Mary Elizabeth Fox led them in scoring with 8 points. Now, Tate, this is going to surprise you. This week's gym. First district championship for Brentwood since 2011.
Yeah, that one's. I would have lost that bet.
52-37 win over Hillsboro when they did that. And they had been in the final something like 6 of the last 8 years. I was totally shocked by that.
Me too. Like I said, I would have, if we had a bet Sportsman's on that, I would have lost. I would have been buying. That's so would that have been?
What would I have ordered?
If you were at Sportsman's?
I like the prime rib sandwich.
Prime rib sandwich is very strong.
I like that a lot.
You going with fresh cut fries or red beans and rice?
Fresh cut fries
every time. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat.
Really
anyway,
would that have been Siegenthaler?
Had to be.
Yeah. So Siegenthaler and then probably Carter was probably the Hillsboro coach. The daughter Carter, not Mama Carter. Wow. Those two used to have some battles, man.
Battles.
The Lady Bruins and the Lady Burrows.
Yeah, 2011.
Not bad for old Coach Wilkins.
No, it was great.
First year in the league, first year district champions.
And Ella Ryan, she had said in the beginning of the year, couple goals, district championship, check. Go to the state tournament. Still got a shot there.
We'll find out soon enough.
Still got a shot. Hey, let's talk about that consolation game. And it was big because the winner was going to avoid Coffee County.
Correct.
And we'll talk about what a nightmare that was once the region started. Franklin came out, smoking. Took a lead, double-digit lead. In fact, Nolensville was down 12 points at the half. They fight back. They tie the game. They take the lead. Franklin ties it. And then Nolensville, they've got the ball to end the game. Olivia Galloway's got the ball, kind of a busted play. Josie Ladd, the freshman, she cuts back door, hits the layup with about a second left. Too late for Franklin to do anything. They get a 61-59 win over the Admirals.
Any other year, Franklin's a top 2 team in this league.
They are. How about the night that Brandamore had?
She's unbelievable. 30 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks. It's been the amount of numbers that she's putting up, but just the consistency that she's done with it. It's been all year long, man.
Incredible.
Like we're talking about it over. Some people are figuring out how to stop or contain other players. Right? Nobody's figured out how to contain her.
Well, because she can do it. She can run the floor. She can score inside. She can score outside. She's tough to deal with. I did want to mention Nolensville, Josie Ladd, the freshman, not only the game winner, she had 21 points, Nyla Johnson, 18 points. And then you look at that all-tournament team. Franklin, Brandamore, Nolensville, Ladd, Page, Mary Elizabeth Fox, MVP from Brentwood, Ella Ryan, and then Olivia Castagna, also on the all-tournament team. Boys side, championship. A reminder again, it was Nolensville Centennial for the consolation, Franklin Indy for the championship. And I will admit, last week I said district title goes through Indy. You had picked Franklin. Turns out that you were correct. 42-40, Franklin with the win. And that one came down to the buzzer too. Dawson Miller got the ball late. He was on the block. He makes a fake, takes the shot. Little contact, but listen, you don't call foul. No way you call a foul in that situation at the end of the game. And then Franklin survives. So great ball game. The thing I took from that personally is Franklin beat Independence during the year by 16 and then by 20. They play again. Never know. That one could be different.
Yeah. Well, this one the other night could have been different. They're both playing such a high level on defense.
They are.
They just are. Franklin, as we talked about it last week, Franklin has upped their defense 2,000% over the last couple of years, and they just play such good defense, and so does Independence too. Again, you'll see what we're talking about here once we talk out of region, but it's just 2 really, really, really good defensive teams that nothing's easy. On it, we sat there and watched that game, both sides. Neither one of them give up anything easy. And then I like this. I got to sit in on a little bit of you and Joe doing the call on WAKM. And you were talking about what a mismatch Mr. Brown is down low, and he is. And you said, I think it just kind of happened that way at one point towards, in the second half. And was it the fourth quarter yet? Maybe it was the end of the third quarter, and Tylen was guarding Christian Brown. You were like, I kind of like this. Because he's actually strong enough to somewhat keep him out of there. And we got to see a lot of that, or not a lot. We got to see a good bit of that in the fourth quarter of Tylen guarding Christian Brown. If they see each other again, you got to have them for 4 quarters. You can't have them worn out. But I'm with you. I think your only chance of him not shacking you down to the rim is Tylen. It was pretty cool to see that, though.
Well, the problem with Christian that he poses a lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
But he gets you in foul trouble. They had 2 different young men guarding him. They get 4 fouls, I think, early in the third quarter. Christian ends up having to guard him. Drew a couple fouls with Tylen Lewis ended up guarding Christian, as you mentioned.
When he started guarding him, I think he had 1.
And he ended up with a couple more. If they let you play and you can make a little bit more contact, maybe that's the matchup. But that lower body of Tylen's, he can match up physically with Christian. Not as tall,
correct,
but strength-wise, he's strong too.
No doubt about it. couple weight room guys right there.
Well,
But no, it was a great, and they just it would get to 6, and then Franklin would maybe get up by 8, maybe 9, but then they'd cut it back. They never really could. Independence was able to keep it to 6, just stay within striking distance, and then had a chance to tie that thing up. At the end, it was a good look. Coach Wilkins called a timeout. You can always tell guys that are experienced too, right? Obviously, that didn't go the way he wanted it to. I don't even know that he said a word after the game. He just waited, shook hands, and now I know they talked about it later, but pretty cool. He knows they were in it.
He knows they were in it. Would love to play again. Well, he'd love to play again because he knows it's the region final,
Right.
if that happens. Brown, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Another great game for that young man. Independence, Nick Degnan stepped up.
Big time.
He's also physically strong enough to battle with Franklin inside. He had 16, Dawson Miller 10, and then maybe the stat of the game's Tylen only getting 4 points.
Well, and if we tell you they only lose by 2 and had a chance to win or tie it with a buzzer beater, and Tylen only had 4 points, you'd probably say that's not accurate, right? So, no, Degman made some huge shots. And when he's gone, he's got that range. He can stretch that thing out a little bit, which they need because you're not getting much inside on those guys, man.
You're not.
They'll D you up.
You're also looking pretty on this one. Beginning of the year, you said, hey, my team that I'm picking kind of, I don't think they were under the radar, but you said Centennial. They start off 0-5 in the league. Look at them now. They win the third place game, the consolation game, 53-48 over Nowensville. Here's what was interesting about this one. Leading scorers of the year, Daniel Patton's been their leader in terms of scoring. And then it's McKelvey, who I think had 6 that night, and then Carter Ezel. Well, they've got Tez Zerker, who scored 14, and Kenai Johnson, who along with Ezel had 12. They do that. They may have a chance. They're going to match up with Franklin in the region. You never know.
And some coaches will tell you that one's a little bit worrisome for them, they think. They've been so close.
You talking about Centennial Franklin?
Yeah.
I agree.
They think that one's a little bit of a trap game is not the right word, but just it's anything can happen in the tournament. They're so closely matched and they're getting better. But yeah, think about that. You got 3 guys in double figures, and neither one of them is named Patton or McKelvey. That's crazy. But the football guys are getting better. Kanai's really coming in.
He's playing well.
I don't know if he made. I don't know how close he was to make an all-tournament team, but he had a heck of a tournament. I don't think you would have gotten a whole lot of argument out of him being on it.
No, I don't think so either.
Made some big shots. Played well.
Nowensville, the Barney twins, Kyson and Cale, both with 16 points. You mentioned that all-tournament team. Kyson Barney, Daniel Patton, Nick Degnan, and then Christian Brown, the MVP, and Xander Johnson, who does a great job for Franklin, does the little things.
Yep.
He guards the best guy. He gets rebounds. He makes the extra pass. Really a good player for them and a big part of their success for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say that. In that Indy game, he doesn't really, he's not going to lead the stat categories, but just it was a big, big part of that win.
Hey, I wanted to mention this before we go to the region tournament. Fairview, girls and boys both ended their seasons in the region quarterfinals to Jackson Southside. Those are some tough.
You don't want to go to Jackson Southside.
No, it didn't work out great. Tough years for both the boys and girls, but they'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be back.
Without a doubt. We coming.
Let's talk about this region tournament. So now we got the region, so all 4 teams advance if you're in the consolation or the championship game. So on the girls' side, we had Brentwood number 1, Page number 2, Nowensville 3, Franklin 4. On the boys' side, Franklin 1, Indy 2, Centennial 3, Nowensville 4. To educate our audience here, the first round games are at the higher seed. So Brentwood and Page hosted on the girls' side. On the boys' side, Franklin and Indy. Now, the girls' side, it was important to stay away from Coffee County. Why is that? Well, they're undefeated, Tate, and they beat Franklin. Franklin has to go travel there 73-33. Let's don't act like Franklin can't play.
No.
I mean, a blowout. I mean, it was. Now, if we got the guys from Franklin watching,
we don't do that.
we don't do that.
No, guys, come on. You got to know the rules by now.
We don't do that. But I saw that. I mean, I thought Coffee would be the favorite, but 40, a total shocker to me.
Yeah. They're loaded, man. A lot of people I talk to think they kind of favorites to win the state tournament.
Them and Bradley Central.
Yeah.
Is the talk you're hearing.
Yeah. There are no weaknesses, right? And they can actually guard and defend Brandamore. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough.
I mean, I was surprised. Nolensville, number 3 seed, they go to Lincoln County. They lose 45-48.
I thought they were going to get that.
I did too. For the second year in a row, they lose to Lincoln. Last year, they lost a heartbreaker over at Centennial. That was in the region semi last year. But great year for Coach Ladd and his squad. Next year, they'll be the team. It'll be Nolensville.
They sure look like it.
It'll be them. I really believe that. Obviously, Page, Brentwood still be good, and Franklin. I think this is the top 4 again.
Oh, without a doubt.
Just different order.
Yeah. Different order. And be pretty. That's going to be. You're right. I think that team's the one to watch, and with Johnson coming back, and then Ladd, and we went past it, but Josie making the all tournament team as a freshman in this tournament. That's pretty strong.
She's got some game too. I noticed
does.
In one of the games she put it behind her back. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing, Josie. Yeah, she's a good player.
Yep.
She is. Paige gets the win. They host Shelbyville. They take care of them 64-46. They were all over them early in the game. They cruised to the win. And then Brentwood, same thing, 65-48 over Warren County. Brentwood. Did you think it would be Brentwood, Page? I mean, the beginning of the year, I think we thought it would be 2 of those 3.
Yeah.
I thought Brentwood and Page would be, when it was last 2 teams standing, that's what I thought would happen.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, Nolensville had I felt like Nolensville had a chance there, and they did. But yeah, those are the 2 best teams all year long.
Let's talk about the boys' side. I mean,
get out the broom.
It was, for all the talk about, okay, we're in the same district. This is why it's okay.
That's right.
We sweep. So Franklin, number 1, they host Warren County, 64-40. Independence, they host Coffee County, 60-33.
Crazy.
Centennial.
We're getting into popcorn city territory here.
Centennial goes to Lincoln County, the school that Jeremy Moore and Barry Wortman built.
That's right.
48-30, they win. And then Nolensville, our 4, goes to their 1, 62-30.
Comical. That's that. I mean, that's a 3-pointer away from Popcorn City. I mean, I almost want to give it to them, but
well, you can kind of give it to the league. We went 4-0.
Now that dang sure that's Popcorn City for the league. That's unbelievable, man. Really good. That's really good. Just think about that. Our 4 seed beats their 1 seed by 32 points on their floor, right?
24.
It was on their floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
24, 27, 18, 32.
Yeah. Let's talk about this, and you want to talk about big starts as well. They all played really well too. But so like what I was talking about earlier was, Mr. Brown. Still, we're talking about that. He had in that Independence game, he had 19 points. He had 33 points, 14 rebounds, a couple of assists, a couple of steals, a couple of blocks. He was 14 for 20 from the field. That's no answer. We have no answer for that. Your man Cole Kaiser put in 11. Colin Robinson had 9 points there as well. And then Independence, not to be outdone, I guess that the Franklin game was probably after them, but Independence, they scored 13 of the first 15 points for their hot start in that game. And then, I didn't think Coffee would beat them, but I didn't think they'd beat them by 27. Did you?
I thought it'd be 20.
You did?
I didn't think it'd be approaching 30.
Talk about scary if you're playing Independence. Miller, 19 points. Lewis, 14 points. Degman, 13 points. That happens, you're getting beat.
Well, I'm going to give you a chance to kind of get your predictions in here in just a second. So because of those games, now here's what happens. On the girls' side, the tournament's at Coffee. It'll be at Coffee. The boys' side, when one district sweeps the first round, it moves back to the other district, and it goes to the site of the district tournament champion. So it goes to Franklin. Franklin, Centennial, Independence, Nolensville. So let's start with the girls first. So you got Brentwood, Lincoln County. I think it's a tight one, but I think Brentwood comes out on top. Coffee County, Page. I think Page is in that game. I think Coffee's just a little bit too much for them right now. I hate to admit it, but being at Coffee, I think that makes the difference. Thoughts about that, Tate?
Well said. I agree. Brentwood, Lincoln County. Brentwood gets the win. Best player on the court. It's not even close. She's going to pull through. Brentwood gets that win. Coach Kaufman, he'll have it dialed up, man. He'll have it dialed up. I'd love to hear the pregame speech. He'll have them believing, but I just think Coffee County's too much.
I do think Brentwood gives Coffee their first loss of the year. Brentwood's schedule's been better.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You look at Coffee's schedule, it's not real good.
No.
In their league, they can't help it.
Well, look, yeah, right.
But outside their league, I don't think they've done what they could have done, honestly.
I don't either. I'm with you. And I don't know that they haven't seen anybody like Ella either. I don't think.
I think we go in there and take care of business. I'm going Brentwood with the title.
I am too.
And then Brentwood
district title, region title.
And then sectional win. I'm going sectional.
Who do we match up with sectionals?
So it's it'll be like Sumner.
Yeah.
Sumner
Green
Metro.
Hill. Sumner Metro.
Mm-hmm.
No Wilson. Are some of them in it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sumner, Wilson, Metro.
Those will be some good matchups.
That's right. All right, boys side. This one's at Franklin. So you got Franklin, the number one, taking on Centennial, and then Independence, Nolensville. I'm going to give you a chance to kind of run down what you think's going to happen. Then I'll follow it up with my predictions.
Well, Franklin has given no reason to believe that they're not just going to finish this thing off, correct? But I said it at the beginning. I really feel like Centennial's the dark horse, which you said not so much of a dark horse, but a dark horse. Nobody picked them. I don't know, man. I just feel like they've played so many times. They're so close. You've now got, it's not just the Patton, McKelvey, Ezel show anymore. As we mentioned, we got Tez, we got Kanai contributing there. I think they're going to D them up. There's really nobody that's got an answer for Christian Brown. I think Centennial maybe has the best answer for Christian Brown. It's not a great one, but the best one of it. So I think there's an upset on the home court. I think the Cougars get the win.
Wow.
You want me to finish it off?
Yeah, finish it off. Do the whole tournament.
Then I think Independence beats Nolensville.
So you got Indy versus Centennial. Who you got in that one?
I think Indy back-to-back region champions.
The folks at Indy would like that to happen.
I think that's just where it's headed.
I think those are good picks. I'm gonna
feel a butt coming.
I'm gonna play it straight up this time. Franklin Indy, matchup number 4. Another barn burner. I think the difference is it's at Franklin.
And Franklin wins.
I think Franklin wins the region.
Franklin's not Franklin last time Independence. Now I'm saying it's gonna be Centennial Independence, but the last time Independence shot on those goals at Franklin, it wasn't pretty.
44-22. It'll be closer than that if they play. But I'll tell you this. We're not even talking about Nolensville. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it.
Me either. I just don't. I think it's crazy. It's all about matchups, right? I think Centennial's a worse matchup from Franklin than Independence. But then Centennial doesn't. I don't like the way Centennial matches up with Indy. And Nolensville could beat all three of them. I just don't think it'll happen. Tough league, man.
It's going to be fun.
Think about NOLA, man. That they had lost 4 or 5 going into the district tournament. Then they get that win, and then they go on looks like we've lost all of our momentum. They go down and absolutely wreck Shelbyville. It's a tough league, man.
Well, you go back and look on the boys' side, the 8 teams. We had mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. 3 teams had a winning record inside the league. 3 out of 8. Overall record, 7 of the 8 had a winning record.
Strong.
That is, it's the best league around right now.
No doubt. They have Rutherford
Oh, no.
They don't lay claim to that anymore.
I do think this will happen. Depending on who gets, because it's going to be Hillsboro. I think our host, whoever hosts the sectional, will go to the state tournament. But it depends on who's going to Hillsboro. I think Indy, maybe, if it's them, I think they maybe match up with them better than anyone for whatever reason. I don't like Franklin versus Hillsboro as much as I like Indy versus Hillsboro.
Do you care to elaborate on that?
I think sometimes it's just matchups. I think what Indy does and their personnel based on what Hillsboro has, it's just a better fit for whatever reason. Early in the year, they just absolutely wasted them, beat them by like 20. Indy was hitting threes that night. I think Hillsboro maybe has a little better chance to neutralize Brown than some other teams. And when that happens, and that's hard to do.
Right.
But if you can neutralize him at all, you've got a chance to win. That's why, for me, with Christian being the MVP, well-deserved, because if you take him off their team, I don't think they finish in the top 4 of the league.
I agree with that.
He's that good a player.
He's that good.
No disrespect at all to those other young men, but he's just that dominant.
Well, we talk all the time about his scoring, but we don't talk enough about his rebounding. When he's down there, he's gobbling up all the rebounds, and he affects it defensively so much around the rim. He just blocking shot. I think it was the last Centennial game, was it? Did he have 8 blocks? I think he did.
I don't know if it was 8.
One of them, he had like 8 blocks. I mean, he just affects the game anytime he's out there.
So let's go back to this and make sure we're on the same page. Girls, I've got Brentwood over Coffee.
Yep.
And you have?
Brentwood over Coffee.
So we agree on that. And then on the boys' side, I've got Franklin over Indy. You've got Indy over Centennial.
In the finals.
In the final.
Yes.
Should be fun. Hey, I did want to mention this. Flag football started this past week. Did something a little different this year. We started off the season for the first time playing teams from Davidson County. We've just been playing each other.
Crossover action.
A little crossover. And I will say this, I'm pleased to report that we went 9-2 in those games.
That's pretty strong.
9-2.
That is Popcorn City. I will say this. I feel led to say it. The two came from the same school, which was the Brentwood Lady Bruins. But I don't know, how did we come up with the games, by the way? Do we know?
It was complicated, but basically tried to make sure, because the Metro teams don't play each other, they don't all play each other during the season, so we tried to match it up where if we had 2 of them at the site, they didn't play during the season, so it was a serious puzzle. Are you saying Brentwood get a tough draw?
They got Hillsboro and Pearl Cone. That's like getting us and getting Ravenwood and Page.
I'm with you.
They got their best 2 teams. But no, that was awesome. It was great. I got to talk to Coach Rathbone. Can I give you a little
Sure.
highlights from the Page Lady Patriots? Right? I guess they're going by Lady Patriots. But this is pretty cool, right? Because a lot of multi-sport athletes. So the quarterback at Page that had such an unbelievable year last year, Samantha Lee. She's a little busy right now playing basketball, right? Savannah Meek filled in at quarterback. You remember her? Missed pick 6. Played lights out, led them to 2 big wins, throwing touchdowns, running touchdowns. She looked great, and again, she's not even playing her normal position. Taylor Burke had 3 rushing touchdowns for the Lady Patriots, but here's what's pretty neat. Savannah Meek, who's usually the one pass ball, Oski, and then taking it home. Lexi Turnbow, 3 interceptions, 2 pick 6s.
They're the queens of the pick 6s.
They are. They break on the ball and get after it.
They do. Ravenwood also.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we've had 3 seasons. All 3 of them end in Ravenwood championships. Is this the year that Page, the doctor of defense, and Franklin can, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. Or does Ravenwood go 4-peat?
Page.
Ooh.
I think it's their year.
Pretty good. They beat McGavick and Kip Academy as well. But we talked a little bit about it last week. Seeing you and Mr. North, Coach North of the district athletic director of MNPS, talking at the wrestling tournament. That's very cool. The crossover, and I know it's something probably y'all are going to do even more of. But
for sure,
the young ladies had to have had fun seeing somebody other than.
Literally for 3 years, we just played one another.
It's just been us, right? Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. I know the coaches like it too. And listen, next time we're back together, we'll get spring break next week. But when we're back together, we'll wrap up basketball. We'll talk more about spring sports, including lacrosse. Inaugural season.
2025.
We're going to dominate that too.
We'll be pretty good.
Going to be pretty good. Tate, enjoy the time off. Check out some hoops. I know you will.
I will, without a doubt.
We're going
spring break.
We're going to have some teams in the state tournament.
We are.
For
Hopefully
sure.
a gold ball or two.
We'll see.
That'd be nice.
Thank you for joining us for Sports Connection. We'll see you next time.